been 6 months since Hurricane Sandy hit and devastated parts of the East Coast, and many are still feeling its effects. Take a look.
Take a ride around Highlands, New Jersey, and you see life recovering slowly. Some businesses have reopened, but many more homes remain rehab construction jobs or merely abandoned.
I am committed, this president is committed, to come back as often as we need to come back, rain or shine, till this town, this shore, this state, and this entire region are rebuilt better, stronger than they were before the storm.
Secretary Donovan announced an additional $1.83 billion in federal funds for towns, businesses, and residents in New Jersey to keep recovering.
We're not here to take a victory lap because we know that we haven't achieved victory yet, anywhere near it. We're here just to say once again, to remind you once again, we will not forget you.
Sandy destroyed 1,250 of the 1,500 structures in this town alone, but the residents are rebounding.
Really pulling together, and I think just very strong people, you know, and everybody seems to be helping everybody.
The same spirit is hard at work down the shore a bit in Seaside Heights, where the iconic roller coaster still sits in the ocean, but town leaders promise to be ready for the busy summer season.
The boardwalk will be up and running on Memorial Day weekend. As you go back further into our community, some of the homeowners won't be as fortunate to be up and running by Memorial Day.
Many of them struggling with the long road back from such a devastating storm.
There is a lot of damage, but so much has already been done that, we're just hoping to keep going.
And one person vows not to rest until the shore is restored and Jersey is all the way back.
This is no longer a job for me, it's now a mission. On October 30th, 2012, this converted to me from a great job to a sacred mission, to rebuild this state to better than it was before.
It's a shame it took a devastation of this magnitude for Christy to say that. And you see the images of that roller coaster in the ocean there. You never get used to seeing that. We do have some new members of the panel we'd like to introduce. Let's start with Rena. Welcome. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Rena Levy, and my brother and I own the Windmill Restaurants. We're headquartered in Monmouth County, but we have restaurants as far north as Hoboken.
Okay, so you have restaurants located in the area, the devastation of Sandy.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
Welcome. Looking forward to hearing your insights. And we have Tom.
Tom Vecchia. I'm a sales and business coach and CEO of the X Factor Selling System.
Welcome. And Dee Dee, just tell everyone again who you are.
A political commentator and former aide to President Bush.
Welcome to everybody, new faces. So let's talk about the situation. Is it embarrassing in terms of where we stand, or is this sort of the expected level of progress based on the 6 months? What do you think, Tom?
Well, from a PR standpoint, it looks like things are great and things are starting to turn around. But the reality of it, that it is an embarrassment, and we're not where we need to be, because frankly the support from both state and federal has waned, and we're not where we need to be to bring back businesses to where they were pre-Sandy.
Okay. I mean, what has been done so far, I guess?
Well, for the most part, initial assistance, there was some money, some support, big outcry, concerts, and so forth. But the money really didn't get to the people who needed it, and businesses are still suffering as well as individuals. So the truth is, we still have a lot of progress to make.
Yeah. Dee Dee, what do you think?
I think that there's a big government failure with this because a lot of money has been allocated, huge amounts of money, but the problem is when you go to FEMA and you get someone on the phone and it has to go through the red tape and the bureaucracy, these people are not getting the money. They're not getting it quickly enough. I think the government, they need to privatize, they need to do anything and everything to make sure these folks are not in tent towns and they're not homeless, and it's not happening.
Oh, Rena, I mean, you're there front and center, sort of your life and your world is located at the heart of Sandy. So from your perspective, what happened and what's been done, and do you think they're doing a good job?
Well, I think there's a lot of talk about what's being done, but I agree with you. I don't think that enough has gotten down to the grassroots. And I think there's a lot of situations where people don't recognize where the devastation is. Our location in Hoboken, although we were open, the path was closed for 90 days.
Right.
They've just about put the town of Hoboken out of business, and not just us. And nobody is going in there and saying, what can we do to help you? There's a lot of talk about the shore, but Hoboken, if you commuted to Hoboken, you found a new way to go to work. You're not coming back. So,
well, even currently?
Currently, Hoboken is not back to where it was. Absolutely not.
So whose fault is that?
Well, in Hoboken, I think they need to garner up some PR to say we're here. Down the shore, I think we're saying loud and clear that we're here, and I think there's a mixed message. I'm not one, I don't support the we're open. I think that's a terrible message to send. The message that I think we should send is come back and celebrate the Jersey Shore. We're here. We didn't leave. And we're going to be as strong this year as we were last year. Yeah, there's going to be pockets of beaches that are not open. It's going to happen.
Sure.
But I don't think we should be reminding people of what happened 6 months ago. I think we should be forward thinking and talking about what a great summer we're going to be having.
Yeah. Thomas, what do you think so far in terms of the allocation of funds? Is it a good situation or not so good?
It's a not so great situation, because in terms of allocation of funds, there wasn't enough allocated appropriately to the business owners that needed to have, meet payroll, to meet restoration problems, and then also in terms of marketing and PR. So if you just simply say we're open, it's not a great play to get back in business. I was in Rockaway, New York yesterday, actually, and you would think you're driving through a third world country.
Yeah,
it's horrific.
It's a war zone.
And I met a gentleman. He actually owned a gym that was 5,000 square feet, completely wiped out. So what he did was he realized most of his people were displaced and they moved to Brooklyn over the bridge.
Right.
So he actually opened up a large bridge in Brooklyn, gym in Brooklyn, and a smaller installation in Rockaway. Now he's striving. So the truth is, he took, I guess, the law or his business into his own hands. Didn't wait for assistance, and now he's prospering. So you really need to kind of, bootstrap it if you have to. Get loans by the SBA.
But where did he get assistance from?
Well, one is he just reached out to everybody and said, "Listen, where are you guys going?" Well, our house is destroyed. We have to go to Brooklyn. So a light went off. So he just simply checked out a location in Brooklyn, took some machines that were salvaged, leased some machines through the SBA, and got a loan, and then opened up literally overnight.
He was one of the lucky ones. What were you going to say?
I'm looking at the monitor and looking at these pictures. I have to tell you, if I wasn't paying attention to what we're talking about, I would think that's the way it still is. I think part of the problem is that we're not showing people what the Jersey Shore is. We have beaches. We're going to have this summer. I think that the shot should be the activity that was at the shore last year, not that 1 week. Or even the places you're talking about that were devastated. But every time somebody that's not down at the shore sees that picture, they go, I'm not going back to the Jersey Shore.
So you're saying,
look, they're closed. And I'm saying, put the pictures on of what was happening last summer. Show everybody positive image, because when they go glance by, when they're walking by
people
their
don't want to come, which is hurting.
Exactly. And putting signs as we're open just reinforces those negative pictures. We have to get out a message. I just worked on a public service announcements with Comcast, and it's all about saying that it starts with the Belmar Sandcastle Festival last year, and it's all pictures of the beach and a beautiful day. And we're trying to remind people of the good times.
Well, there's a conflict of interest here, because a lot still needs to be done. I think that's why we're showing these images, but we need to equally show the good images so that people flock there and support local businesses that are in existence and get things going again, have a catalyst, something, an infusion of some activity. Dee Dee, what do you think?
It is definitely a two-tier problem, because there are people that have sewage in front of their house, or people that don't have lights, they don't have homes, they don't have anything. So there is a dire need for some of the citizens, and here's the problem. Members of Congress, city council, town council, county government, where are they? I'll tell you what, I'm furious with them.
They're at the correspondence dinner.
Yeah, well, they need, that's right. And they're the ones, it's like, maybe they shouldn't be re-elected next time, and people should call their office and say, what are you doing about this? Because it's federal funds, and it is up to them to try to help move it along. And it's not being helped move along, but to what you're saying, there should be a PR campaign saying, hey, we are open for business, this is why, and make it a big deal and say it's beautiful, and this is what we're doing, we need you to come in, we want you here.
But all those
so it's a two-tier problem.
But all those people that that are displaced and are homeless, are they calling their local representatives? Are they trying to make them do something? And are they just not answering the phone?
Because some of them, they're beat down.
They're so beat down in the system. If you try and call the FEMA offices,
awful.
They work old-fashioned bank hours, if that long.
Terrible.
They're not responding to the people. They're not staying open 24 hours.
Atrocious.
They're not user-friendly like a bank.
It's like Katrina. You'd think we would have learned from Katrina, and I don't think we've made any progress. Tom, what do you think?
Here's what's interesting. So the same gentleman who had the gyms in Rockaway was in the same building. FEMA actually came in and rented that location for a number of months.
Okay.
He was next door to FEMA. Did they come in and work out? Did they try to help him out? Did they give him any money? They might as well have been a million miles away. They did not help him out at all. They were very unhelpful to the community. And when it was over, boom, they were gone.
So what are they doing?
Not much.
They're just setting up tables and handing out flyers?
It's the bureaucracy that is in the way of progress, which is why they need to bring in local people or maybe assign folks in certain towns to make sure that someone on the ground to make it work. Because if it's just government, it's just not going to happen. We've seen it over and over again. It's dysfunctional.
And what makes this this country strong, and what makes us strong as individual business owners, is you have to help yourself. So right off the bat, you need to go to your local SBA office and find out if there's any loans to get yourself some money. Money's cheap right now, so take advantage of it.
Okay.
Number two, maybe hook up the local chamber of commerce and network the heck out of your businesses in order to get back on track.
But you're making the point how the government needs to work with a local person, someone who knows the community and can actually make these things work. Give them the power to do it. Give you the power to do this instead of just having the bureaucrats.
The other piece was the insurance companies fought this tooth and nail.
Right.
We just got some money for one of our businesses this week. If we didn't have money to operate between now and then, they could have had me out of business these last 6 months if I needed that money to go
I'm sure
forward.
that's happened to some people.
And
There
that's
are people that, because the insurance company fought, and I'm telling you, my brother was on the phone with them every day. He was relentless.
What are
He
they
didn't
fighting
give up.
though? They're saying it's not
They
true?
don't want
They don't
to
want to pay.
They don't want to pay. If it was a hurricane, if it wasn't a hurricane, if it
Yeah,
was a
legible.
flood.
What does it take for them to
Oh,
pay?
there's characteristics, and if you didn't meet the
awful.
right characteristics, you might not have had the right insurance.
unacceptable.
Therefore, you can't get anything. And now you're talking about people that lived in the same house for generations. They have to raise their house up 18 feet in order to rebuild their house,
right. All these
and
new
no
regulations.
insurance money to do it. Where is it coming from?
Right.
Well, the truth is the first 6 months after Sandy was a hot mess. It just essentially was a disaster from both the governmental standpoint and the local business standpoint as well. I do think the next 6 months will be better, but we are far out of the woods. One thing is now is you really need to be capitalized. You need to reevaluate who your politicians are.
Absolutely.
You need
Yes.
to get them out of office if they didn't help you.
idea.
And the third part is look who your insurance carrier is. One of the businesses that I own, they actually cut us a check within a week. So that was
Really?
easy. Yeah.
Wow,
so
lucky.
you have business interrupted insurance. So you really need to hire maybe a small business consultant or consultant to look at your insurance, to look at your capitalization and your source of funding.
Right.
Funding is very cheap right now.
Hold
So,
that thought
yes.
for me, Tom, because we do have to take a break. We are going to continue the conversation on Sandy. There's a lot more to get to, so stay with us. You're watching Fresh Outlook.